off and stay warm? Huh? Yeah, that may sound like an oxymoron, but it's how our next guests do business. The owners of Windows Plus, Reg and Tom are back with us today to tell us why it's important to properly install your windows and doors in order to seal in air for your family to stay cool. And of course, in the summer heat, that's exactly what we want. And of course, in the winter, we want to stay warm. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So how do you stay, cool off and stay warm? Make sense of that for me.
Yeah, well,
I know I just had some wine, but make sense of that for me.
in the summertime, you want to keep the cool air in.
Right.
And in the wintertime, you want to keep the cold air out.
Okay.
So it's blocking the air.
In my
it's
house,
air infiltration.
In my house, we usually want to take the hot air out, but go ahead.
Yeah, yours and mine. So the key is to blocking the air. Air infiltration is a big. It's the main reason your house is cold in the winter and warm in the summer.
And the bills skyrocket.
And of course, the bills skyrocket.
Yeah. So how do you check for those leaks? Because old school, my dad used to say, light a match and go around, and that causes other problems. But how do you check for those leaks?
Well, actually, what your father does, old school, is a good way of checking for leaks with the match. That's a great theory. And you do. You see exactly what's coming in through the window, around the trim. I mean, we find a lot of times that when we tear out old windows, the windows are old, so of course they need to be replaced, but the way they were installed is where they're losing a lot of the heat and cold because they either weren't installed properly or they weren't insulated properly. And sometimes we even find newspaper stuffed in there in place of insulation.
Yeah. That's not good.
No.
So what do you guys do at Windows Plus? Like, how do you install a window to guarantee that it's in there nice and tight?
Right. So we've talked before about, a lot of emphasis is on the product, but we feel the emphasis should be on the installation.
Okay.
We use a foam around all windows and doors. It's a spray foam insulation specifically designed for windows and doors. Now, don't go, running off, grabbing in the old foam and spray it around your windows and doors, because some of that stuff expands to a great amount, and you'll have problems. So you have very specific foams designed for windows and doors.
Right.
And we use it on everything. Some people are still using the old-fashioned fiberglass, and as Red said, we've even seen windows where newspaper was packed in there. So nothing works quite as well as spray foam.
Well, what about the it's about a ½ inch thick, and it is like the little rubber that you can put on the edge of the door and around the windows, kind of like a sealant?
That's what Julie, that's a quick fix. It's like a Band-Aid.
Okay.
And that's where if a homeowner is not looking to replace their windows, they may run to a home center store and pick up something that they can help block out the cold during the winter.
And
it's like putting a Band-Aid on there.
Yeah.
Right, that's before they call you in to get it done.
Yeah.
All right, so not only do we find leaks like in the windows and the doors, but there's other places around the house where you could have a leak, such as?
Right, and in fact, for the month of July, any purchase of a whole home of windows, we're going to provide that customer in advance of our windows being installed an energy audit.
Okay.
So they'll see where around their windows and doors there's a lot of air leakage, but they're also going to uncover other areas in the home that they can address, such as their attic, around light switches, around plugs. So fireplaces, the damp, what do you call it, the dampener in the chimney. So there's a lot of other areas. Everyone thinks windows and doors are your primary source, but there's a lot of other areas as well.
Well, on top of that, windows is about 25% of your homes.
Okay.
The exterior finishes, if it's siding, that's about 75%, and you lose a lot of energy through your walls.
Now, and this device is going to tell me if it's the window or if it's the siding?
It's an energy audit, and they'll go through the home, and they'll be able to show you where air leakage is occurring. And you'll see with the old windows, but then you're also going to uncover other areas. And some areas that homeowners can handle themselves that aren't too difficult of a project to take on.
So now the difference between Windows Plus and other guys not only is the foam, but it's also the ability to go through and show where we have the leaks. Now you said it's not just any foam, there's a particular kind of foam that you use. When you talk about expansion, is that the same as having the door, sometimes the door sticks? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, yeah, some foams with window, it expands 10%.
Okay.
Whereas other foams will expand up to 100. So if you use the wrong stuff, and you use it around your doors and window, it will expand so much that that door or window will not operate. So it's something you have to be very careful about.
And about the door you were saying, normally when your door starts to stick, normally that's an old wood door.
Okay.
And that's happening because of the humidity. So it's making the door swell.
Okay.
A lot of times in the summer is when you'll see your wood door swell, and it'll make it stick. I mean, that's one reason why a lot of people will go to either fiberglass or metal.
Right, okay. Now, quickly, specials that we have going on at Windows Plus.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, running through the end of July,
Right.
for anyone who purchases a whole home of windows, that will supply, at no cost to the homeowner, a free energy audit. And again, this company will come in, they'll do an analysis of your home. So they're going to give you a lot of good information that you can work towards correcting over time.
Got it. All right, and to get in touch with you guys, it is windowsplus.com, but it's windowspls.com.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much, guys, for coming in.
Thank
we do
you.
appreciate it.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
everybody will stay nice and cool this summer.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, stay with us. More with Let's Talk Live coming up after the break.